Your host Jawan Bashir with another recap. Week 5 of the NFL season. Let's get straight underway. You already know what time it is, baby. Let's go ahead and knock out Thursday night's game. The Rams, the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers played very well with all their injuries. Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne had a ball on a string. Their connection was fantastic. Matthew Stafford played really well for the Rams too. Almost 400 passing yards, multiple touchdowns. It just wasn't enough. And turnovers are going to be key to any type of game. And unfortunately for the Rams, that fumble really hurt them. They needed a touchdown right there, and they just weren't able to get it done. So give respect to the San Francisco 49ers. They handled business on Thursday night. Sunday morning overseas, Minnesota Vikings, Cleveland Browns. Minnesota was able to be a little bit better offensively than Cleveland, although Cleveland's running game was really good. And both defenses are stout, and they did a great job on both sides. However, Minnesota, like I said, was just a little bit better. They took this game from them. The Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets. The Dallas Cowboys offense was clicking on all cylinders, even without CeeDee Lamb. Javonte Williams has been an excellent addition to this team, and Dak Prescott and George Pickens have that ball on a string, and it was great to see from their point of view. The Jets didn't play terrible on offense, but their defense couldn't stop anything, and Dallas had this game well in hand, so shout out to them. New York Giants, New Orleans Saints. That's the Saints that you want to see right there, playing both sides of the ball pretty well. Although they give up some yards, they force turnovers, and that's how you win games in the NFL. Turnovers are huge, and New Orleans created a good amount of them. So shout out to New Orleans. The Giants weren't bad, but you just can't turn over the ball like that. It's how you lose games. So shout out to New Orleans once again. Houston Texans, Baltimore Ravens. Even with Lamar, does Baltimore win that game? Maybe, maybe not, but not when you give up 44 points to the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud looked phenomenal. They had a great game on offense. Running game was there, passing game was there, their defense was there. Everybody was locked in from Houston's side. Baltimore wasn't able to really get anything going, and they deserved to lose that game. Houston just took it to them with no regard. Another game from the early window that we want to take a look at, a fun game to watch, the Carolina Panthers and the Miami Dolphins. Now, Carolina, coming into this game, you may not expect them to do what they did. 200 rushing yards? Rico Dowdle and the offensive line put up 200 rushing yards on you, Miami. That's a tough one to swallow. And Tua did a lot through the air. It just wasn't going to be enough. Both teams were fighting nip and tug, but ultimately Carolina showed out. And respect to them on getting that win. That's a big-time win against a decent opponent in Miami. The last game from the early morning window that I want to take a recap on is the Las Vegas Raiders and Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones looked fantastic, but it's really Jonathan Taylor that is the best player on their team, and he's the best running back in the league this year. He's having a stellar season so far. 3 touchdowns once again, almost another 100 yards. Las Vegas stood no chance, especially if Geno Smith's turning the ball over. Whether it's his fault or not, they gotta stop turning that rock over to give yourself a chance, let alone win the game. You gotta stop doing it, Geno. Good win for the Indianapolis Colts, 4-1. Afternoon slate, the game of the weekend in my opinion. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Seattle Seahawks. 9 straight consecutive touchdown drives. That's awesome to see as just an NFL fan or a fan of these teams. A lot of fun back and forth. Baker and Emeka Egbuka had it going. Jackson Smith and Jigba and Sam Darnold had it going. It's a fun game to watch. 38-35 Tampa Bay. They improved to 4-1, 2 games ahead of both the Panthers and the Falcons. Big time win for them. Titans, Cardinals. Cardinals, you're up 21-3. You put the ball out and you lose it on the goal line, and from there it was never the same. Tennessee fought, and they fought, and they fought. They did not want to lose this game, and you could tell they didn't want to lose this game because of how hard they were going after Arizona, and they were able to create turnovers. Cam Moore got it going just a little bit enough to win the game, and they deserved this win because Arizona dropped the ball, literally. Another game we want to take a look at is the Broncos and the Eagles. This was in the early morning window. However, I saved this one because Philadelphia was undefeated, and Denver, coming into Philly, no one expected to win, right? Some people may have, and that's why they did. They were underestimated. Their defense was stellar, and they kept them in the game long enough to perform a 15-point comeback in that fourth quarter. Shout out to Bo Nix for staying in there. Their defense was phenomenal. They deserved the game ball for that one. In Philadelphia, you got to be able to convert some of the opportunities, but that's just a really good defense to play against. And Philly's defense wasn't bad either, but Philadelphia's offense was not good enough to win this game. Shout out to Denver in a big-time win. Another game to look at from the afternoon slate, Cincinnati Bengals, Detroit Lions. If Joe Burrow was healthy, this would have been a great game to watch. But Jake Browning is just not going to be able to get it done for the team, and he hasn't been able to yet. Detroit did what Detroit does. They put up points. They run the ball. They pass the ball. Their receivers, their tight ends, everyone's catching it. They're looking great. Their defense was stellar, forcing 3 interceptions in that game. The box score is a little bit closer than what the game really looked like, but it's Jamar Chase. He'll get his numbers. He'll get his numbers up. Shout out to them for winning that game. Commanders, Chargers. The Commanders went in there and took that game straight to the Chargers. Justin Herbert's not going to be able to throw the ball without the offensive line protecting him a little bit better than that. And shout out to the Commanders. They took complete advantage. Jaden Daniels had it going. Their running back had it going. The receivers were locked in. McLaurin and Samuel had it going. Shout out to Jaden Daniels and that Washington team for getting a big win. The Chargers are just not going to be able to win games without protecting their quarterback. And their defense bent, but you got to have some form of life from your offense to give your defense that spark to stay in it. And they did not. Buffalo Bills, New England Patriots, Sunday night. Buffalo Bills were expected to win this game heavily, but Drake May and the New England Patriots went in there and took it to them. Stephon Diggs took it to his former team, and New England always plays really good against division opponents. You cannot forget about that, and they showed that Sunday night in a big-time win to stun the last remaining undefeated team in the league. Give full credit to Drake May as well as that defense for rallying Josh Allen and the team just a little bit. Monday night's game, the last game on the schedule. The Kansas City Chiefs, the Jacksonville Jaguars. An up and down game. Kansas City Chiefs had the lead the entire first half and they were rolling. But Jacksonville's offense started to get it going, and then their defense stepped up too in big ways. That pick six, 99-yard interception return for a touchdown was massive. And that was a big time win for the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were quietly 4-1. Big win for them. And shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars for tying the Colts in that division. Chiefs were 2-3. What's going to happen? Mahomes looked pretty good that day, and he had it going with his receivers, but just wasn't enough. And with that, this is enough from Jawan Brashear, JQB for 3. You have a good night.